Hey friends, Sean, of course, No Holds Barred TV, and tonight is the Robin Hood Diaries. Those are my shows, just me. Our 6 degree separation chats, of course, are loaded, so you'll probably be seeing a little bit less of these shows. Nevertheless, I get so jazzed when you viewers, you guys, you're only like 4 people to me, get jazzed about a preview of one of my shows, the Robin Hood Diaries. So I aim to please. Just ask anyone west of La Brea. Inside joke for LA. Anyway, so let's cut to the chase. The promo listed Sean running around nude or half nude for the entire show that we're going to talk about, to the dating of the leading lady at the time. Long story. Didn't know Sean was like that. What was going on back in the 80s with Sean? Anyway, and then the last part is the director who basically fell in love with me to an extent, and then things got very complicated. So let's go 1, 2, 3, because I aim to please. So first thing, running around half naked for the entire performance. I do. I was going to say I don't know how I got this part, but we will get into that at the end. So let's just say I'm in the part. So I'm co-starring in a relatively popular, very badly written and directed at Just Ask LA Weekly, which we will get into. So I'm here in this play. I'm playing an Air Force cadet, opposite 2 other Air Force cadets, one Russell, close friend of mine, gay gentleman, the other Jason, or JP I should say, straight gentleman, in love with both of them. We were a pack putting on this show. So originally my leading lady was, I will just say, a celebrity that I interviewed a week ago, and we'll just leave it at that. But she was originally scheduled to star in this show. Wow, I was so excited. I had already worked with her in 2 movies, so we prepped, we rehearsed to death. And then she, of course, had a major project come up, so she had to go. This was just little theater. Even to me, I had done the Amundsen in Los Angeles. And so this Flight Theater on Santa Monica Boulevard was, go to Scratches, was small time, was chump change to me. But theater's theater, and theater is the only miss that I have with the industry. Not that theater is the industry whatsoever. So I'm in this play. The Air Force cadet, basically, in this, I've researched this play backwards and forwards on the internet. So no one's going to find anything. No one's going to be able to name anyone. It is nowhere, as was the play, a Nowheresville play. So it's me, the Air Force cadet, 2 Air Force cadets, and 1 lady, who ends up being a lady by the name of Peggy. She was relatively famous or well known in New York City. She had done Saturday Night Live once, and I have to this day not been able to figure out what in the heck she did on Saturday Night Live. She was not a regular, and they don't bring people like in for skits, right? Unless they're celebrities. So wash on that one. She's brought in by this director from God knows where. I think that her boyfriend was a very wealthy producer. Do the math. So it cut to being in this play with these 2 lovely gentlemen, all of us Air Force cadets, and this now Peggy, who is co-starring with me. The premise of the play is that basically the cadets go out, get drunk. Of course, I have a drunk scene. Key to drunk scene is try to not act drunk. Do not act drunk. Try to not act drunk. Long story. So I'm supposed to be inebriated in this scene because, I end up in bed with this woman that I had hooked up with, and in a drunken stupor, we wake up the next day in bed together. We could very well have just passed out or whatever. She's convinced that we had sex. I guess am at that point. So the whole play is based around, oh my God, we had sex. And now she's convinced that she's with child. Whatever. So now she's convinced that we need to get married. Real war and peace here, right? So then we have to get married. So then we get married, and you know, the thing was so ridiculous. I don't even know how it ended. I know there was a lot of mishaps where it seemed like it ended, but it wasn't supposed to end because the lights went off or the wrong cue was given. So in theater, speaking of cues, my method is to do a cue by cue run. So right before performance, I will, or whenever, I will have somebody run cues with me. The girl went to the store. What's your line? The dog jumped over the fence. What's your line? So I'm cued. So we do this play. It's hysterical. I have to be drunk in the play, and of course gag after gag between me and JP and Russell. I'm supposed to finish off like a third of a bottle of vodka, which of course is water. Well, of course, prank-a-rooney. One night, JP and Russell put vodka in the bottle that I was supposed to be glugging. Well, not a very good idea because I end up basically really tipsy by the end of the play. Fun, another fun thing. We always used to gag with each other. I'm alone with her on the stage, having to look back and forth. And of course, Russell is over here and JP is over here with their pants down and their things hanging out and waving them at me. But this is a very serious scene. So these kinds of things go on. Anyway, the leading lady, Peggy, and I, of course, were working very close together because we were playing whatever you would call that kind of couple. So we would go out, get acquainted. One night, we go out for Italian food. We have some nice wine. This is in the middle of the production. And what happens? We, of course, end up in bed together at Russell's house, where we were sort of powwowing all the time. You know what happens? Twice. In their guest room. So we're out. We've done our thing. It's the next morning. They know I'm gay, you guys. I was a functioning bi. So people, even my husband, like, oh God, yeah, they hear my stories. You're bi, you're really bi. Because no, I was wild. I was not bi, but I was gay. You know, I got married, the whole beard thing, whatever. But I was still trying to keep up this act to include having to have intimate relationships with women to prove that I was doing so. But that's not why I did it with Peggy. Peggy was lovely. Anyway, so we wake up the next morning after this Italian dinner where we had fun afterwards, and we're laying flat out in the guest room on the bed. They know I'm gay, right? So here comes the inside joke gag. So I'm asleep, she's asleep, I'm this way. So JP and Russell come in, knowing I'm gay, with their cat, who's a fluffy, lovely little cat. And Russell comes in and comes right up to me with the cat. As I wake up, he has the cat's, who is a female, he has the cat's back legs wide open. No discomfort to the cat, very cash cat. And he's putting the wide open cat, kitty, pussy, in front of my face so that when I wake up, I'm looking at nothing but a Usipe Ace Fay. So big joke, I'm there, they know me, what happened, big joke. Last part, how did Sean get the part? Well, Sean got the part because there was a director who I will not name because it doesn't matter because this play faded into the vapors, but he was a director. He was very enamored of me. This was around the time that the play was in preparation. And I was offered the play. It was sort of a subterranean inference that I would get the play conditionally. So let's just leave it at that. I got the play. Okay, you guys? You got to do what you got to do, right? Girls got to work. I know, this sounds really gross. So I got the play. And it became very complicated because he wanted to be like the honcho of my acting, and he was very territorial with me and very, very cozy with me well, it ended up extremely cozy. Anyway, this is the theme of sort of, hey, you scratchies, sort of the one of the threaded themes throughout my book. I want to show you proof of my book by June 7th that it is en route. This is really happening, guys, so don't. Anyway, so this director, who I know his pool, I know his pool house, I know his backyard, I know how it is landscaped, I know his living room, and I know his bedroom. So that became extremely awkward to the point where it became virtually too awkward to work with each other. And no, this guy who I've referred to earlier, Ron Singer, who became my personal manager, saw me in this play and practically tripped over himself to give me his phone number to be my personal manager. I ended up being his client and refer to another episode about how that nightmare ended up, both with me and another client, a fellow actor, who complained to me about his behavior, which I already knew about. So that was the awkwardness. The director got weird with me afterwards because maybe it wasn't reciprocating enough. I ended up with a lecherous manager, two wonderful friends, JP and Russell, and Peggy, who was a love. We actually visited and hung out together in Manhattan several years afterwards, and she's so funny. She was a love, and I don't miss that one. I don't regret that one. Okay. So anyway, end of stories. I hope I offered what I promised, and there is a heck of a lot more, of course, as I tell you where that came from, because I'm actually chunking out pieces of not pieces of my next book. That's a whole another ball game. But I'm actually chunking out to you pieces of things that I was going to keep. But no more. You're going to get it all. I love you, and that's why. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.